Olá, bom dia. Manson here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. Ask anything about Portugal Wednesday. And we got a couple of experts for you this morning. We have Jeff de Gouvier from Hit the Road in Madeira, live from Funchal this morning. But before we go to Madeira and find out all about Hit the Road and the marvelous work he's doing, I do urge you to watch, well, not right now, don't do it now. But I watched an amazing promo video that Jeff and his team made about their work at Hit the Road, which you must watch after the show. Absolutely hilarious. And we'll find out more about the man, his work and their tours. Number one tour, you know, in number one tour operator and tour guide in the world, I believe. 50 years of experience, and he's only about 35 or something like that. It's extraordinary. But before we go there, similarly built and accomplished, live now from Gibraltar. Ask anything about Portugal, finance or Madeira today, this very Wednesday, the 16th of June. It's Paul Correa. How are you this morning?
Not too bad. And you, Carl?
How are you doing there at the other end of your office?
Can you hear me now, or I did get closer?
No. Don't push it. Ah! Great to see you, Paul. And we have a wonderful event coming up. And basically, you've just popped in this morning to just give us a little bit of a blast about what might be going on Thursday. Let me just pop this on the screen. Paul Correa's Beginner's Guide to Investment and Trading for Expats. Okay, of course, he is your wealth management man based in Gibraltar at Fiduciary Wealth Management. The where and what to invest in our expert from Fiduciary Wealth Management, this man himself here with us just for a moment. If you've got a very quick question about finance and you want to put it to Paul, do pop that in the comments now. We've got a bon dia, Carl and all. I love this show. Stops me from doing the dishes. That's good enough reason to watch it. Jack, CDM, good morning to you. Stephen stops me doing the dishes. Stops me doing anything that I'm trying to avoid as well. Yes. Bon dia from Stephen Wells. Good morning to you. Elra Linda as well. Good morning, everyone. And Owen. Yes. Hello, Owen. Bon dia, Senor M. Amo você e a todos. Very good. Thank you for that. Always speaking Portuguese in the comments there, Owen, setting a great example for us all. So just briefly then, Paul, how's the world of finance looking before we talk about what you're going to do on Thursday?
It's a bit edgy. The market is a bit unstable. I think they're waiting for the Federal Reserve having their monthly meeting to discuss whether, the market is just waiting whether there's any evidence that the Fed is inclined to do tapering, to reduce the amount of quantitative easing they do every month, which is currently running at 120 billion. So they're buying mortgage-backed securities and they're buying their own treasury bills because there's no demand in the market for zero-yielding assets. So they are buying and pumping liquidity into the market. And there's a bit of concern that they might cut back on the level of quantitative easing being pumped or the amount of money that is being pumped into the market, which I think is highly unlikely. Look, they are between a rock and a hard place. If they cut back on the tapering, there's no demand for the treasury bills. That pushes the yield higher. That means that the US government has more to pay in interest in debt servicing costs because the yield is high. The economy will collapse. The stock market will collapse as well. So it's either, continue the amount of quantitative easing to keep interest rates anchored at zero. I think we've seen the 10-year yield dropping off from about 1.8% to about 1.4%. So they keep on doing quantitative easing to suppress the interest rates. That's the most likely thing. For the foreseeable future, I don't see any change in policy or any hint from the Federal Reserve that they're going to ease on their on the amount of quantitative easing. They're not going to cut back on quantitative easing.
My goodness. So basically, the world is holding its breath as America makes financial decisions still. Is that right?
Exactly as it always, that's always the case. You know, everyone has their eyes fixed on the Federal Reserve and the, you know, monetary committee and what they discuss. They look at any signals that there's a change in policy. Then they await the release of the notes to see if there's any discrepancy between Federal Reserve board members, to see if there's any shift in sentiment in terms of which way to go. But look, right now I see suppression of interest rates to zero, continue the quantitative easing, try and hold the stock market together. There's inflation, inflation is coming through. Big debate, is it transitory or is it, you know, longer lasting? And all this is impacting not just equity markets, but also precious metals. Okay.
All right. So on Thursday, let me just put the slide up again for what's coming up on Thursday. Beginner's Guide to Investment and Trading for Expats. I think, like, if you're like me and Paul, there are certain things in what Paul was saying there that you're thinking, I've heard that all my life and I've listened to the news and it's gone over to the financial person to say this and the FTSE going up and down, but I don't completely understand it. Thursday night is the night to ask those questions, right? All the things you're afraid to ask about finance. So we can put those on Thursday.
Yeah, it's much more than that because it's a private investors club. We're going to discuss specific equities that investors should consider, provided they have the risk appetite, the risk tolerance, they have they've got the patience to look at it long term, they've got the long-term perspective, and we'll run through a few ideas of where they can make money. I think it's going to be extremely interesting because we're going to delve into the detail of some of the stocks that are, you know, we look at deep value stocks where we think they're trading at a discount to their intrinsic value. So they're discounted to their book value. So there's deep value in those, and maybe they're paying a handsome dividend. And there's dividend consistency because they've paid it over many years through good and bad times. And then we're looking at the hyper growth stocks that could do exceptionally well over the next 10 years. And as I said, we're going to look at specific ideas, we're going to discuss them, we're going to share our views why we like those particular stock. And you know, and it will be the first of many, hopefully many monthly private investors club Portugal. That's how I...
Okay, it's open door. It's anyone's welcome on Thursday, but I sense the door closing behind us after the first one so that we can get on with business. And those people truly interested and with the credentials that Paul just mentioned there, with an openness to risk and a long-term view, they seem to be key things, because we are getting many questions and prompts to start this little club, a money club, a finance club, an investment club, and this is the beginning of that. So we look forward to your company on Thursday. Paul, anything else you want to tell us before you go and get back to your busy day in Gibraltar?
No, nothing at all. I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to share those ideas. As I said, you know, a private investors club is fantastic for those who want to trade their own securities, and they need a bit of inspiration and a bit of guidance, and, you know, an opportunity not just to listen, but an opportunity to share and to ask pertinent questions to see that, to ensure that they understand, you know, the stocks and the risks as well as the rewards. But, you know, I think it's extremely interesting. I would urge anyone who's a member, a premium member of Expats Portugal to try and join, because it's groundbreaking, and I think over time we'll try and evolve the concept and see whether we can share our Bloomberg screens as well. But that's
all right. And do we all need to get a big desk? If you zoom out a little, actually, I can do a zoom. Do we all need to get a big desk like this to put the money on?
Just send me the money.
Just send me the money. It sounded like a movie now. Colin's saying, Paul, please get a headset for future contributions. Very difficult to understand at times. Yeah, we had a little bit of a difficulty with that this morning. It will be improved for Thursday. Colin is one of the people who wants us to get cracking with the investment club. So point taken there, Colin. And Paul, thank you so much for jumping in this morning briefly to tell us what's going on Thursday. That's it. Paul Correa's Beginner's Guide to Investment and Trading for Expats. Join us from 7:30. You will need to book on that. Go to our website to do it, and I'll put the link in for you for doing that. Have a great day, Paul, in Gibraltar.
Thank you. Thank you, Carl. Bon dia. Bye.
Thursday. Bye for now. Wow. Okay, a few more comments, and we'll get Jeff on, who is waiting for us in Funchal at the moment. What a great atmosphere this morning. Size of that desk. We'll see how big Jeff's desk is as well. Stand by, Jeff, for desk inspection, because I think he deserves to make a fortune. He's going to need a big desk to put that on as well in Funchal. Chris Blake, bon dia from Abu Dhabi this morning. Wow. Good morning to you, Chris. Elaine Godley, cooey from near Tavira. Very good. And Paul Williams, hola, bon dia from a warm Hampshire. Does anyone know of a list of local markets in the Ribatejo district? Borda de Agua is the Portuguese publication where allegedly, I've not found it easy to read or decipher, but that tells you where all the local markets are in Portugal. But I'm thinking in the Ribatejo district, Santarém is going to have a great market, or two, isn't it, or three or five in a city of that scale. And Gulgão, the famous, horse capital of Portugal, they must have a fantastic market there at Gulgão. But if Thomas Malloy's tuned in, he'll let us know. If he's not, seek him out on the forum at expatsportugal.com. Louise is here. Bon dia, out walking the dog on Praia de Massas. That is such a beautiful beach. I hope you're finding that too. Solo 50 plus Louise there. And where's your backdrop gone, Cole? That's a really good question. And I've got a question for you. What books should I have? Whilst I've got my, this is all set up for Mrs. M for doing her shows. It's very kind of feminine, isn't it, with the plants and the books. And the only concession to me is the Barca. They're not my high heels with the clock there, I promise you. Not that we judge that sort of thing on here, but look, the Barcelo cockerel with its literally crestfallen state, because I dropped it and the comb fell off. But that's the only concession to Good Morning Portugal on this backdrop. What books should I have in there? Obviously, Learn Portuguese in 24 hours should be one of them. I don't know what book that is that just says big there, or maybe that's the big book of NLP. That's the sort of stuff Mrs. M does. But yes, I'm looking forward to getting my green screen back to cover up a multitude of sins behind me. Virginia Larson, Bon dia Alegria from Nebraska, warm 75 degrees. It's very humid here in Portugal as well, 24 there, and it's 3 a.m. only in Nebraska. Wow. There's some tossing and turning going on there, I suspect. Here he is. This is the man who introduced me to Jeff. Bon dia, Carl. I'm here, half awake. But that's normally the case for you, though, Joel, to be fair. But as promised, only kidding, watching the live. Good on you, Joel. Probably working nights last night. Colin Ross Jones, big desk, big car syndrome. Oh, Jeff's got a 4x4. We'll have to ask him about that. Morning, everyone. Having a lovely week off and a rare lie-in from Gary O'Connor. And bon dia from California from Joe Diaz. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Let's go live now to Funchal in Madeira and talk to Jeff de Cuvier from Hit the Road. Hello, Jeff. How are you?
Hello, Carl. I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Well, you're probably exhausted after listening to all of that. Has that changed your investing habits already?
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
I missed all of the middle of that. Got a sudden sound problem, but it's all right. We'll persist anyway. But I think maybe something about risk, because you've obviously started a business, Hit the Road 4x4 tours of Madeira. You're not risk averse, are you? You're an adventurous fella, and people must watch your video. It's hilarious. Tell us how that all began. And thanks to Joao for introducing us. He's a great bloke, isn't he? Despite being a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, thank you, João. I know you're listening, so big shout out to you. Yeah, so Hit the Road Madeira tours started out in 2012, in August of 2012, and of course since then we've toured around Madeira probably a good over 1,000 times. With loads of not only British tourists, but even Portuguese expats as well, and visitors from all over Europe that come to Madeira, basically.
Yeah, amazing. And you've got fans already, mate. Look, oh, what a fun coincidence, says Maria Costa. I just started following Hit the Road Madeira yesterday. Bookmark that nice restaurant he went to yesterday.
Wow.
Tell us about that in a moment. But Yogi says you've got a great backdrop. Actually, yeah. You do. I think boasting many an excellent Portuguese liqueur and a top shelf drink there.
Yeah, I might just set up a studio over here,
Yes, well, just to showcase your drinks. Jeff is the greatest. What an inspiration. Always a highlight to be on his tours when on the island, says Ronaldo.
Thank you, Ronaldo.
Isn't that great? Fantastic. It's a bon dia from a cloudy Alcabasa and a good morning from a grey and dreary Tamar after a 40-degree day yesterday. Thank you, Maria and Pam, respectively, there. And over in New Jersey, it's Jersey with an hola bon dia alegria from the United States as well. So we've got people all over the world. Why should they come to Madeira, Jeff, if they haven't been already?
Oh man, it's the age-old question, isn't it? Madeira. Look, Madeira is the seasoned destination. You know, it's got absolutely everything from from the budget traveler to the 5-star connoisseur. We've got absolutely everything in Madeira. We've got adventure, we've got leisure, we've got food, we've got weather. It's been a favorite amongst the Brits for many years, and still is. And now it's even better. We've done a fantastic job of creating tourism during the pandemic. Madeira introduced this testing system very early in the airports in June last year when we reopened after everybody went home. Madeira was, I think, the first destination to start giving free tests at airports. Everybody was either tested or had to present a test. So, they've put in a whole lot of different kind of systems in play to make sure that everyone is safe and that everything is going well here. And we've won awards for it. Europeans safest destination back in January. And we're starting to see tourism really pick up now.
Oh, I'm so glad for you, because it must have been a really scary about 15 months ago, not knowing what was going to happen. And you've dealt with that admirably, I think, as an island and as an individual company, right? Yeah,
look, I mean, like I said, as an island, we really we really adapted fast. And any kind of trend that started coming out in the new travel trends, the island quickly adapted to. The digital nomad scene was something that came out real quick. And Madeira pounced on it, and there were articles coming out on like the New York Times and things about Madeira being a digital nomad haven and all sorts of things. And us as a company as well, we doubled down digital. I was doing a kind of like almost what you're doing now. I was at home doing a lot of Instagram and Facebook shows and YouTube shows, and we were making Espetada live and ponchas and things live and interacting with our community and setting up deals for 2021. And that's kind of what got us through, just keeping our community tight, our and just constantly adapting.
Yeah, amazing. Let's come back to Espetadas and ponchas in just a moment and find out specifically what you do and how people can book you. But Danny and Lily are here as well this morning. Hey, Jeff from Tokyo this morning. Hope to meet up in late July, bro, from them, and lots of lovely emoticons from there. Tarlok Singh, good morning to you. Gary O'Connor's subbed to Hit the Road channel as well. You're going to get good entertainment from Jeff for sure there. Bon dia from Baltimore, from Jim White. And this is a good question. For those going to the Algarve each year, what would you say to convince them to go to Madeira instead? Now, on behalf of Portugal, I have to say you should go to both. Not
yes.
But another question I was going to ask you, Jeff, is what can the Algarve learn from Madeira? Because clearly you've got some sort of good political or tourism leadership there that's been very innovative and responsive to this situation.
Yeah, look, I mean, we've also been quite lucky that we're an island, so we can very easily control, what comes in and out. When it comes to what can the Algarve learn from Madeira, I mean, look, I'm not even going to go into that because I'm no Algarve expert. I did go to the Algarve once, actually twice. I've been to the Algarve and really enjoyed it. I did a jeep safari there in Monchique, which was amazing. Obviously explored the beaches and the understands, you know, the precepts.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and absolutely loved it. I think if I had to convince you, to sway you to come to Madeira instead of the Algarve, is that we can swim in November and December and January
Okay.
here in Madeira, you know, and quite easily swim in the summer, which in the Algarve isn't too easy.
Yes.
I found the water pretty chilly out there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think Madeira has it on that basis. Very good. Good question, Gary. So, what do you do specifically in Hit the Road? Great name for a company. It's obviously about tours and quite adventurous and adrenaline based tours. Am I right? What would a typical tour with you be like?
Well, I wouldn't say adrenaline based. You know, adrenaline sounds a bit heavy, but you know, there was a journalist who came to Madeira who put it very well put as the island. He called it a soft core adventure.
Okay.
So you know, we've done quite a couple of things over the years. We started as a 4x4 tour company, so we take people around in the 4x4, show them the island, a little mix of the popular attractions with the local hidden gems.
Right.
Always running away from the crowds, always making our own path, always kind of improvising. That's our website. Fantastic. So yeah, it's a little description who we are and what we do. And then of course these are our tours. So yeah, we've got our shared tours going at 55 euros per person, where you just book a seat. There's 6 seats in the car, and for the day we'll show you around. And then of course there's the private tours, starting at 185, going up to 235 per car, depending whether you want a half day or full day. That's me and my Land Rover. And we get to show you around the island in the best possible way.
Superb. Look at these beautiful pictures. Amazing. I'm guessing you're going to get Landy fans as well, just coming for that aspect of it, right?
Yeah, and I was very fortunate. A good couple of years back, I had a guy from the Land Rover Owner magazine.
Yeah.
And totally squandered an opportunity to be in one of his articles in the magazine, just because I was so busy at the time. I couldn't send him an email with some questions. But it was really great having him in the car, you know, because not only did I learn a lot about my Land Rover and about Land Rovers in general, it was just such a privilege, of course, to take somebody that interested in what I do.
Amazing. Amazing. So, and this is one to aspire to, isn't it? This is a bucket list thing, isn't it? The big walk.
Exactly. The big walk is our what do we call it? Our flagship tour.
Yeah.
That's a 8-day all-inclusive hiking expedition from east to west. So you can imagine something kind of like Camino, or something that we're trying to make a little bit of an icon of, so to speak. And basically it's just me with a map making the best possible routes where we'd get to see the best possible places, times, lots of sunrises, sunsets, waterfalls, mountains, ridges. We're staying in a mixture of hotels. So we'd stay in a couple of great hotels. We'd also stay in a rustic house where we'd make a nice big espetada, and kind of like, you know, we'd cook. Everyone would cook together and do that kind of thing. There's also a day of camping, and camping as well, comfortable camping, not that kind of like sleeping on a thin mattress. You know, it's blow up mattresses and comfortable sleeping bags, and we're making, you know, campsite breakfasts, and all while we're watching the sunrise. Just great stuff.
So more like the glamping end of things. I mean, to me, that sounds like a spiritual experience, right? As you mentioned, the Camino. This is you're going to see something really special on that one.
Yeah, and kind of, it's funny because there's always these kinds of conversations that come up at 11 o'clock at night with a full moon, you know, and you're out in the campsite with a campfire. Everybody's always talking about, oh, I've always wanted to do this, or, you know, like I haven't, you know, quite been grasping this or that, or there's a lot of like life experiences there, a lot of life-changing conversations.
I bet complete strangers must open up to you around the campfire at night. It sounds wonderful.
It's a very personal job, not even around a campfire, even during a day in the Jeep. You know, we get to know each other pretty well, and I don't consider myself, even though I put we made the joke video of the best guide in the world. It's basically we're just hanging out, and I'm showing the island to a group of friends, and I'm trying to keep people upbeat. And it's funny, you know, I had a Russian client who wanted to do a hike in Madeira, one of the more kind of popular hikes, up to the highest peak. And she was an elderly lady. She seemed like she was a little bit sick, and I kind of got her there, you know, by like trying to keep her motivated and like almost like coaching her up, you know.
Fantastic.
And she wrote a review about how I was a good psychologist, and I thought, well, okay, I guess, you know, and yeah, maybe the tour guide is the new bartender, maybe, you know.
Yes, there you go. That's a really good discovery, and a job young people might aspire to. Absolutely, with that in mind. I mean, you're covering all sorts of bases there and getting a lot of satisfaction working with people by the sound of it. What a lovely job to be doing. Land Rovers apparently don't lose oil; they mark territory. So they're a trail around Madeira with Jeff's vehicles there. That's good morning to you, Joel, in Matosinhos this morning. Jeff, was it you, asked Maria, was it your company that did a tour for a mother and son, the mother in a wheelchair? That was very touching. Was that you?
Yes, there was a couple of days ago. Yeah, the son was this big, he was actually like a French FBI kind of, not FBI, like what's the word? Like, it was basically like a French Rambo, you know. This guy was like special forces and stuff.
Forces, yeah. Okay.
And he sent me an email, and he said that you know, he takes his mother to all these, you know, crazy destinations. He'll lift her in and out of the car, and you know, if we can keep the wheelchair in the back. And I thought, okay, well, I've got to take this guy around, because you know, not only was it, I kind of felt a little bit of pressure to, like, you know, to perform for these guys, you know, because somebody who's putting in so much effort, then I've got to, you know, at least show similar effort. And yeah, you know, he took her to, I mean, we really saw the best of the island, and she's a very lucky a grandmother, not mother, grandmother.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I was going to do my French impersonation there, but now you mentioned he's from Special Forces. We'll just leave that and say what an inspiring guy. What an inspiring guy. Elra Linda, Gary O'Connor. This is the comment addressed to Gary. Algarve has beautiful beaches, but you only have to start a little bit of rivalry about Portugal, and it kicks off like this. Algarve has beautiful beaches, but Madeira has that and more. It's an Eden garden with breathtaking views. One of the few places in the world where you can still see the Lari Silva. What is that, Jeff?
The Lari Silva is it's an ancient forest.
Okay.
And basically, I mean, yeah, we can speak quite a lot about Lari Silva. I'll try and make it concise and interesting. Yeah. But basically, when you go back to the years of the Ice Age, right, there was a forest that existed in the north of Africa and west of Europe. You know, when that whole thing was happening, the forest went away and found Micronesia, right? So you got to think of the forest as like a living organism, like one organism, right? And it kind of migrated, and it migrated into the Atlantic to this place that they call Micronesia. And Micronesia is Madeira, Azores, Canary Islands, and Cape Verde, right? And this whole area of these volcanic islands is actually called Micronesia because of the Lari Silva. The Lari Silva, Micronesia in Latin means the Fortunate Islands, and that name came from the Lari Silva. So it's technically the purest Lari Silva in the world. You do get hints of Lari Silva in other places like Australia and so on, but this is where it kind of belongs. And here in Madeira, we've got the most preserved Lari Silva in the world. It's a World Heritage Site. It's protected by UNESCO, and it's obviously very beautiful. It's a rainforest, basically.
Oh, amazing. What a lovely description as well. Thank you for that. And I'm guessing that's something, excuse me, people can look forward to when they're sat with you in the car. They're going to get that all day long if they want it.
if they want to, I don't like to bore people with facts that they don't want. Some people just want to, go out and drink and talk about football, so
That'll be Joao, I think, when he's out there.
maybe, yeah.
Fiona and Simon, bon dia, Carl. Broad-based engineer, jack of all trades, trained in many areas, so very adaptable. Have some interesting business models to try and get me and family over to Portugal. Yep, that's a good credential to come with. All Portuguese men are engineers, effectively, is what I've discovered. I don't know if that's true in your experience. I mean, a very resourceful race, I think.
Yes.
The Portuguese. Joao Mendonça, the man himself. Hopefully now, Carl, you've been persuaded to take the family out there, and Jeff is your man. I really didn't need much encouragement to get to Madeira, but now, yeah, you're absolutely right, Joao. Having met Jeff, this will be a great thing. And you're fine with kids in the back, kicking the back of your seat and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. Of course. We got baby seats and everything.
You just put up with it for an hour and then just shout at them.
After about 15 minutes, they're all sleeping.
Okay, brilliant. Yes, there's another good reason to take the kids on holiday there with Jeff. Thanks, Jeff. Just going to get my flip-flops. Love the idea of swimming in warmer waters. Jacqueline CDM likes your backdrop too. Is that a 35-year-old port or what?
No, this is the pastel de nata cream.
Oh, number 35. That's a funny old drink, isn't it?
I got that in Lisbon. But this is. Do you guys know what this is? Breezer.
Is that your national branded soft drink there?
Yes. Except that inside here is some homemade wine liqueur. but it's in a Breezer bottle, so that's I guess that's important.
Yes, out of the reach of the kids there. So Breezer is normally the pop, the soft drink, and you've just decanted there.
Yeah, so we just stole it. It was actually the first carbonated drink in the world to have real passion fruits pulp in it.
From Madeira, you're
this
actually
is where it lives.
Oh, fabulous, amazing. Yes, okay. So while we're on the matter, we've got to talk about espetada and poncha, which will be a classic combo that you would share with people on their tours. What I mean, people are going to call it a kebab, but it's a bit different, isn't it? An espetada.
Well, yeah. I mean, from what I believe, a kebab is a bit smaller, isn't it? I mean, this is like a full-on skewer. It's a good, good cubes of beef. Traditionally on a bay leaf stick, on a laurel stick. So we get a green laurel stick, pierce the meat into it, and then on the fire with a little bit of salt and garlic, and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right. And then the salad is basically an alcoholic drink in a glass called a poncha, isn't it? On the side.
Yeah, well, the poncha is, that's our little cocktail, Wouldn't have it with espetada, but probably after.
Okay. All right. So what are we having with the espetada?
Probably just some good red wine, eh?
Yeah, okay. Because, I mean, it is like someone mentioned the Garden of Eden. The islands are so abundant there, aren't they? The food is incredible. When you see pictures of the market and the fruit especially, it's out of this world.
Yeah. We got a joke here that we say that everything grows big in Madeira except the people.
I think people are booking their trips as we speak. This is a good from Como here. 6-degree earthquake at 50 kilometers from Madeira last month. I guess you expect that with a volcanic island. What's the what? I mean, should people worry about that?
No.
Okay, let's move on. I think we temporarily
just
lost
before the pandemic.
Okay, go
on. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now.
Back, okay. Yeah, that was not an earthquake.
That would have been really spooky. Well, go on.
Yeah. No, the earthquakes are, I mean, you don't even feel them. We had one before the pandemic that kind of shook up the island for a couple of seconds. And that was like the most, that was on the news, and that was like the biggest thing that happened in like a year or something. So
yeah,
it doesn't. It's not Florida.
Jeff at the Madeira is taking it in their stride there, Como. So nothing to worry about there. Jeff, do you let clients drive? You must get asked this by some people, right? Can I have a go, please?
No, hell no.
Sorry, Colin. See, Colin would love to do that, but I guess that would have to be another experience altogether with probably quite a high insurance premium, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, this whole like self-drive thing, and but yeah, I mean, because they do them in the Algarve, and I did a great one in the Algarve actually, that went behind this guy and he was driving along. But I think in Madeira it would be really difficult, and there must be a reason that nobody does it here. So at least not in a Jeep,
Okay, so there's your answer, Colin. What a wonderful piece of plant information and a great view of Madeira from a special person with an amazing job and a great personality. That's you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jackie.
I would agree with that review as well. There, thanks, Donna Jacqueline, for that. Don't forget the tremosos while the Escalada is on the fire. What would they be from Ronaldo?
Tremosos, you guys have tremosos there, don't you?
We do, but I'm just pretending I don't drink too much beer and eat a load of those every night. But yes, they're the little beans, aren't they? Might be quite popular with Hannibal Lecter, possibly.
I'm not sure about that one. Where do you get that from?
Are they the fava beans? Are they because they are a double-skinned bean, aren't they? And I don't know if they would be served up in a different context as fava beans or not. If that's the same variety.
It's look, to be honest, I'm still not sure exactly what the tremoso is. It's technically it's a lupin. They call it a lupin.
Lupin bean, yeah.
Yeah, some people call them butter beans, but I don't think they are. But yeah, it's basically just this little bean, very high in I believe it's high in sodium. You just eat this very high in fiber. Yeah, we drink it. We eat it with our beer, basically. Yeah,
that's right. And they're a bit salty, so it's a great thing for a bartender to give you those and keep you drinking as well. Of course.
Yeah.
Ronaldo de Souza is saying we finally have Breezer available in South Africa now. So there you go.
Fantastic.
Good news from South Africa there. Bon dia. Madeira is absolutely enchanting. Lived there, says Catherine, and loved it. I sent you a picture on Facebook. Says we've got to be careful when people do that. But the trusted source, just to envy you lot a bit. Oh, I wonder what that is. Maybe that's the morning view of Matosino show. I'll see if I can find that a bit later on. Going on the bucket list for Jacqueline CDM for sure. And I'll come back to Jerry's comment. We've cracked the driving license issue that we floated yesterday, which doesn't concern Madeira. Andy the Doc Thompson's here, and it's a parabéns I will say to you, Andy the Doc Thompson. Hola, bon dia de Marina Grande. I think he's probably had a poncher or two already. Happy birthday. Have a great day, Doc. Thanks you for all you do for Good Morning Portugal and Expats Portugal. Ralph is here as well. Good morning, Carl. Edmundo, bon dia, Carl, as well. Hello, Ralph and Edmundo. And, of course, Paul in São Rafael, in the Algarve, the aforementioned Algarve. And Cloudy in Porto this morning says, Namaste, Dave. What else do we need to find out from you? I mean, I think people are just basically, it's leaning against an open door. Why wouldn't people want to go to Madeira? Here's a really special way to see it with you, Jeff. Award-winning #1 tour guide in the world. Your video. What else do we need to tell people before you go? Because I imagine you're a busy fellow and you've got things to do today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying nowadays to embrace the Portuguese lifestyle, but yes, there are things to do.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, basically, if Madeira's got it all. It's whichever way you experience it, you're gonna love it. So even if you've got absolutely no idea, what you want or what you want to see or whatever, then just book a trip to Madeira and you'll see something for sure.
Okay, brilliant. And you've got a bit of an offer, I understand. If people go to the website, they can experience a bit of a 21% discount.
Yeah, this offer, kind of just we're giving away 21% off everything on our website for the whole of 2021. It's kind of a play on the 2021, as in like, let's get back into it kind of thing. That's what we're doing, and we've got look, we're slowly booking up. So I can assume that a lot of people coming to Madeira might get disappointed if they don't book early, and that's me not trying to pitch people. But we're a small company. We've only got 2 cars at the moment, and it's a very limited group that we take, and we kind of like it that way. We don't want to turn into this big big agency or anything like that. And I think that this year, because so many people are going to be coming to Madeira, I think that a lot of maybe the smaller boutique hotels or the real special Airbnbs, these places are all going to fill up real fast. So if people are thinking about it and seriously thinking about it, do your research, hook me up, I can help. I'm very often responding to emails from anything from accommodation to where to eat a good espetada. So I'm here to help.
Jeff, thank you so much. And I think, our community is so generous. A lot of them aren't going to bother with the discount. They're going to see that you've had a tough year and just pay the full book price and just have a great time with you, as I'm sure they will have. Donna says, hello from Terceira. We'll definitely book with you when visiting Madeira, neighbour there, really. This is an interesting one. Regarding driving, can you guys bring cars from Madeira to mainland Portugal frequently? It's not a ferry ride, isn't it? I don't know if anyone would do that, would they?
No, well, we used to have the ferry. Unfortunately, there's a lot of politics involved and something to do with taxes and dock taxes with all the authorities and whatever. So there used to be a ferry. It used to be reasonably cheap. I think it was about $150 to take a car over. But nowadays, it's got to be by container. Anything from 600 to 1,000, just over 1,000 euros, I believe, to take a car one way.
Not convenient. So best to hire something or get Jeff driving you about there, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can hire a car when you're here. Of course, that brings with it all the kinds of headaches that I don't know if you want to have while you're on vacation. Where to park and not to scratch your car. Where to go, and I think when you're on vacation, you want to chill out, don't you?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Jeff, thank you so much. Just one final question then from Yogi. This is a bit of insider information. For someone that is able to travel any time of year, and what a lovely position that is to be in, Yogi, when is the best and least crowded time to come to Madeira?
Typically, nowadays we really don't know what's going on, but typically it's May or September for me, just before or just after the summer season. The summers are great here, they're hot and cloudless skies and beautiful weather and everything's fantastic in the summer. But the kids are on vacation. There are more people here as well. So the beaches are full and promenades are full. And so it's a little bit more lively. If you want something a little bit calmer, then in May and September, the weather is already starting to become like summer or just coming out of summer. Spring or autumn, exactly. And that's for me, that's usually what I recommend.
All right, superb. Thank you coming in from Dominique as well for one of the many wonderful things you've offered us this morning. Jeff, it's been an absolute pleasure and a lot of fun to talk to you. Thank you so much, Ralph, for putting us together. And anytime you want to come back on and have a shout out about what you're doing there and sing the praises of Madeira, you have a key to the studio. Thank you, Jeff.
Awesome. Thank you, Carl. And good morning to all of the expats. And thanks for sticking around.
All right. Ciao, mate. Bye for now. Have a good one.
Cheers. Thanks, Carl.
Abrazos, beijinhos. Is it all right to say beijinhos to a man? I don't know. We've said it anyway. Ciao, ciao.
Beijinhos.
Yeah, there he goes. Jeff de Gouvier of Hit the Road in Madeira there. Live from Funchal this morning. What a fantastic bloke. What an excellent company. Let's just put the link to the company in the comments one more time. Hit the Road Madeira, as you might imagine, .com. Portuguese or English, whichever you might need there. Catherine, thank you for that. There's somebody with Catherine, that is, with an accommodation recommendation there. Nuno Jose, give you a preferred rate. That's the sort of intel we need when planning a trip. Thank you, Catherine. Andrew Gilchrist is here this morning as well. The calm before the storms. Good to drop the humidity, though. Excellent. I see Jeff is still in our green room. You won't crash the show if you go, Jeff. So you're very welcome to stay there, but it won't. It would be fine if you leave, mate. Or if you need to go and drink pastel de nata liqueur. Has anyone tried that? Please tell me in the comments what you think of pastel de nata liqueur. Also, I asked earlier on, what books should I have in my Portuguese bookshelf behind me? And possibly, what's the most hilarious thing you've seen in somebody's bookshelf behind them that they've forgotten to remove before their Zoom call or whatever? Keep it cleanish. Just hire a car, Umberto is saying about being over there. It's costly. In response to, I think it was Como's question about taking a car to Madeira. Costly to transfer the car from the mainland. 500, I think. Yeah, there was, I think Jeff said something like that, 600 euros to get over there. That's a lot of hassle, isn't it? And all the worries and stress that he mentioned as well. What else are we saying in the comments here? Oh, Colin. Good morning to you, Colin. Thank you for your earlier comment and this one. I asked the same about driving in Dubai Sands 4x4 after he told me he had let Michael Schumacher drive. I told him I was a famous racing driver. What? That Colin Ross Jones, the famous Formula One driver. And he still said no. There's a pattern here, Colin. Emerging, or maybe third time lucky. We'll see. We should have got Jeff's recipe, shouldn't we? Jeff is a ponche specialist, a ponchista, possibly for that. Will's here as well, everybody. Greetings from Alcabasa. Where did the sun go? I was going back to the beach. Hannibal liked fava beans, and a nice Chianti. And I think we've covered all the comments so far. Oh, it's Jacqueline CDM knows what 35 is like. Very similar texture and creaminess to a Baileys. So it's the Portuguese Baileys, perhaps. Dominique Core, comb the comments, or Dominique and Catherine speak to each other about that, about Nuno's accommodation as a very specific recommendation there. And sounds delicious. Shots or mixed. Thanks, Carl, from Ronaldo. That was a breath of fresh air. It was, wasn't it? Sorry, back to Portuguese news in brief in a moment, which isn't really a breath of fresh air, but I think we ought to cover it, as well as Jerry's update on the driving license thing. Apparently, you weren't able to buy a car in Portugal unless you had a Portuguese driving license. I think that's proved to be untrue. Jacqueline says, yes, we have a bottle. Very nice. Can't be that nice if you've still got a bottle, I would say. But yeah, I get you. It's probably one you bring out for guests, isn't it? You know, someone coming over, visiting you. Have you tried our liqueur that's made of our famous pastry? Look, MIA, the man himself, MIA has been missing in Algarve. Bon dia todos. Have you done the weather as yet? Could you please do the Coimbra weather for the next few days, please? We haven't done weather for ages, but given that you ask, I will see if I can haul that up onto the screen and let you know what's going on in Coimbra. That is, I think that's bordering on passive aggressive, actually. That is a thinly veiled complaint, thinly veiled like the sunshine in Coimbra, perhaps, with Frank complaining at me still that I recommended Coimbra to him. Then I moved away, and now he's living in a cold and damp city by the name of Coimbra. Give it a few more days, Frank, honestly. How was the Algarve? I tried the pastel de nata liqueur, says Gary. Garvo's here as well. Look, it's quite sweet, but after a few, you get used to it. Like most things like that, I guess. João Mendonça, Carl, I see Frank is back from his travels. Yes, it would appear so. He's a different fella, isn't he? When he's in cloudy Coimbra, he's asking serious questions about the weather. When he's in the Algarve, we don't hear from him. He hasn't got a care in the world. He's just down on the beach or whatever, doing what he's doing. Yesterday, I was sitting outside with a coffee. Within 5 minutes, my left leg was burning in the glorious sun. My right leg was being hit with hailstones. Welcome to central Portugal at the moment. Then a strong wind. What was in the coffee, Jerry? Then thunder and lightning. What's going on? What is going on with the weather? And Stephen is glad to see you. Frank! Umberto says, official Portuguese website from the Weather Institute. And we'll have a link to click on with that. Actually, I can't click on links that are in the comments. Let's clear up this thing about the driving license thing, thanks to Jerry. Morning, Carl, from Jerry. Crack the driving license issue. Car dealer gave wrong info to our member. See, that's why it's good to be a member. We get to the bottom of these things. That member, premium member not premium member, you can join free, of course, or you can pay €47 and get access to a stack of perks and benefits at expatsportugal.com. But one of our members there was given some wrong info by the sound of it from a car dealer. There is no requirement to have a Portuguese license to buy a car here. So there you go. And residents, there's a reminder there from Jerry as well. You have to exchange for a Portuguese license within the 90-day period of registering yourself as a resident here. So there you go. Good info from Jerry this morning. More comments coming in before we have a look at the news in brief. Should we do that? I think we should. And also, let me see if this weather for Coimbra has come up onto the screen. Yes, it has. So let's have a look at the Oh, no. I think Frank knows exactly what the weather's going to be like in Coimbra. and he's just sharing his dissatisfaction with me about my recommendation for him to live there. I am so sorry. Look at this, Frank. Probably after some beautiful days in the Algarve, here is the Coimbra weather for you. Let me bring your comment onto the screen to go with that. So let's go to Coimbra for the weather now. And Wednesday, today, the 16th of June, it will be 26 degrees, very humid and raining. Tomorrow, Thursday, 20 degrees the high, a low of 15 and raining. On Friday, it'll be 24 degrees, rising again with a low of 15 and raining. Saturday and Sunday, both raining. Monday's raining. And Tuesday's going to be great because it's only cloudy and not raining in Coimbra. Sorry, Frank. I wonder, will he ever forgive me? If you want the weather for your area, give us a shout. Let's have a look at these news headlines, shall we? Including the camper vanners are fighting back. There's a thing, isn't there, in Portugal, where people love to come in camper vans. We arrived here in a camper van. We didn't do any wild camping. Actually, we didn't make the best use of our camper van. We were too keen to stay in Portuguese establishments and not try and sleep in a tiny Mazda Bongo with four of us, because it's. I think they describe it as the Mazda Bongo is a classic vehicle. It's a collaboration between Mazda and Ford, and they think they call it a 5-berth possibly, but it's 5 Japanese people and probably 3 Europeans in there. You're lucky if you get a good night's sleep. When we only had our eldest, 2 adults and a baby or a toddler, but we were pushing it with second baby, and we're glad to get into to Airbnbs and hotels and guest houses, especially in Jerez. Wow, the first night in Jerez was amazing. Anyway, enough about us and our camper van. People come to Portugal in camper vans and motorhomes, mohos, and ordinarily, the bit of wild camping, people didn't push the boundaries too much. But I think basically the problem has, a few bad apples spoiling it for everybody else. People emptying their effluent by the roadside. You know what I'm saying? And spoiling it for everybody, and the authorities have pushed back a bit. And I think most wild camping and non-official site motorhoming has been banned pretty much in Portugal. You have to go to an official site, or you go to one of the supermarkets. And only the mystery of the laundromat inside a supermarket car park was revealed to me by Frank or Gary, I think. It's ideal, isn't it? You go in and you can use the facilities of every kind, including your shopping, do your washing, and you're in the car park. Everyone benefits. You get the safety of their car park and they get your business. I think even there's a pushback on that. Let's find out in just a moment. Let's see. Yes, Joao, Frank is back. And thank you, Jerry, for your weather story from yesterday. The Algarve is an exotic mistress, eluding me for now, but soon I shall have her, says Frank, in a very poetic way there. Yeah, thanks for the weather report, Carl. He's not happy about either, is he? Yikes. There are people who are desperate to live in Coimbra, Frank, so I don't think it'll be a problem reassigning a lease if that's what you've got to do. And I want 20% of that, should that happen. Praia de Massa has its own microclimate, or more like monoclimate, as it does not change. Overcast every. Look, stop moaning, all you people who are in. They're so spoiled, aren't they? There are people desperate to get to Portugal, and the ones who are already here, they've got a few months under their belt as expats. They're moaning. Stop it, you lot. Overcast every day. This is info from a local, as well as my experience so far. Few months. Just a month, few weeks, this will all be forgotten, and we'll talk about the weather. I can't remember moaning about that. You mark my words. Jerry, Frank, how many Expats Portugal brollies would you like to order? There is a merchandise idea, Jerry. Not one to miss an opportunity. Very good. That's almost disaster capitalism there, Jerry. Okay, but really quick to respond there. That's why Jerry gets paid the big bucks. He's the beating heart of innovation and enterprise inside Expats Portugal. IKEA in Portugal had quite a few campers last time I went. Okay, so IKEA would appear to be the home of motorhomers and camper vanners at the moment. Meatballs, use the facilities, and you were not going to go in there and come out with something you can't fit in your camper van, are you? That's what happens when you go in there. That's how they design it. I've seen gas station washing machines in the Algarve. There you go. People need to wash their linen in public. Their dirty laundry in public, literally. 25 degrees in Weybridge, Surrey, from Andrew Gilchrist, rubbing it in a bit there for Frank's benefit, I suspect. Carl, stop it, you Brits as well. It's not funny. It's not helping Frank. High of 29, Crystal Palace, but sadly from tomorrow onwards back down to 19, 20 and rain again in the UK, as we would expect. And as many people are trying to escape from. On camping car issue, camping and caravan, motorhoming, mosquitoes kept me awake for 3 nights. Oh, Will's been using his. Okay, this is another level. This is someone camping in their car, which I think you deserve a medal for. And anyone who's had the misfortune of being stuck in their car overnight, or even tried camping in it. I mean, I know more and more people are doing this. I know around the world, this is a serious matter. This can be a poverty thing for people, and there's too many people having to sleep in their cars, not trying it out for fun. But mosquitoes kept me awake for 3 nights straight. I can now catch them like Karate Kid with a snatch every time. You see, necessity is the mother of invention, isn't it? As well as a wholly itchy body. How are they getting in if all the doors and windows are closed? Okay, a moment to talk about mosquitoes. Do you know what? It might be good that we never get to the Portuguese news in brief, because you're keeping us busy in the comments, everybody. Mosquitoes, they are extremely... I had a few thoughts about mosquitoes recently. One is that they are like... they live in their own matrix, don't they? And they can just disappear, like Neo in the Matrix. They don't even have to run into a phone box. They can just, as you try and whack them with your electric tennis racket, whatever you've got to hand, basically, whatever you're throwing at them, a towel. We've all done it, haven't we? And we don't care if there's going to be a blood smear on the wall. We'll deal with that later. But they can just disappear at will, like the characters in the Matrix, okay? And then appear on the other side of the room or behind your head within a few seconds. They disappear down little, what would they be called? Black holes of the time and space continuum. So that's one thing they can do. Another is, I'm thinking, for people who've had vaccinations recently, it's not something people look forward to, is it, the needle part? How is it that mosquitoes, as small as they are, can penetrate your skin with something as tiny as their proboscis or whatever it's called? And why hasn't the technology been invented, or has it? Maybe it probably has, hasn't it? It's probably being used in an area we're not aware of at the moment, and will trickle down into the sort of mainstream at some point in the future. For those needing an injection of any kind, wouldn't it be? You don't notice being bitten by a mosquito. How is it that nature is just so marvelous and amazing? And obviously, I'm aware that it's not marvelous and amazing to get bitten by a mosquito 3 nights running, as Will has experienced here. Any anti-mosquito tips? Very good. Or just hire Will to come round and stand at the end of your bed. That might be a bit awkward, but he can catch them with just a mere Karate Kid snatch of his hand. Ella, Linda, they are turning Portuguese, always complaining. Elra, I'm not complaining. I'm not moaning, says Carl. It's perfect weather for walking for me. Yes. Okay. Sorry, Louise. Apologies to you for accusing you of moaning there. Yes, I don't mind an overcast day every now and then myself, I have to say. Scorching 27 degrees in Reading, frying eggs on the pavements of Reading. Not rained for ages, says Stephen. Andy via Austin this morning. Did I miss Paul, or is he too busy? Bye, sell, chop, time is money. You did miss him. He was here first off this morning. But don't worry, book in onto this. He's always good value, Paul, isn't he? He's a real character. The character that is Paul Correa will be with us on Thursday for the Beginner's Guide to Investment and Trading for Expats. It's going to be fun because we're going to do the theory and the practice, and he's going to give a few tips as he often does. So yes, he is busy. He had a massive desk. Watch the replay just to see Paul's humongous desk upon which he has to put all the money, of course. And that's certainly how I was ribbing him earlier on. There goes Jerry, flogging brollies. Bon dia to you, Jerry. We should do lunch in the Algarve soon. Yep. That sounds like a good idea. And then you'll need the brolly for shade, won't you? Very good, Jerry. This is a great idea. Memo to Astrid, I think. We had a world of weather yesterday. Sahara heat, Amazon rain, and Arctic-sized hailstones, and American Midwest wind. Isn't that incredible? That's it's kind of a selling point, isn't it, that you could do that? Andrew Gilchrist, not a fan of mosquitoes, as you can see from his comment there. Citronella. In which form? Not to be eaten, I'm guessing, but you can wear it as a aromatherapy thing, can't you? You can burn the candles. There are bracelets, I believe. What's your favorite method of citronella warfare, Andrew? Why are people complaining about the weather? It's 300 days of sunshine, not enough. In a month, we'll all be complaining about being too hot. There you go. Colin's right. I've been vaccinated. Mozzies ain't biting me. Oh, I see. So maybe the Moderna is a mozzie repellent as well. Is that a scientific fact there? Because we do fact check here, as you know, Frank. Frank check. Nature's doodle bugs. Yeah, isn't it amazing? It's only the female mozzies that bite. So what do we make of that? Yeah, I guess it's it's a survival instinct, isn't it? It's that great and admirable thing about mothers in nature, isn't it? They will do anything to protect their young, including biting you and me. Mosquito nets, I'm pretty sure you can get them from IKEA cheaply. Thank you, Maxine, for that. You can. So if you're in a camper van, you can go and you can park up, have meatballs, use the facilities, buy some new sheets, because it's probably cheaper at IKEA than actually using a laundromat in a car park. Consider that. And get yourself a mosquito net while you're in there. Very good consumer tips this morning, including the excellent Expats Portugal umbrella, which I'm hoping to model here very soon. They secrete an anticoagulant, apparently, which masks the bite. Yes, until sometimes the next day, right, when you're itching like fury, thinking, I thought I didn't get bitten last night. And then it swells up, doesn't it? And alcohol can bring it on, sadly. I used to belong to a website in the UK where you offer people on bicycle tours a shower from a watering can from the first floor. I'm wondering, do you want to welcome in sweaty mammals, middle-aged men in lycra, as part of this scheme? You're not selling it to me so far, Louise, but here you go. You offer people on a cycle tour a shower and a bed for the night. Yeah, obviously in that order. Shower first, then you can sleep in the house. Something similar for campers would be great if you have a bit of space. That's a lovely idea, Louise. This is the home of enterprise and entrepreneurship. Another idea for you there. Well, I think the hyperdemic needle is technology designed on the mosquito proboscis. Of course it was. I'm sure we take our inspiration from nature always, don't we? So there's another note to Jerry. What type of, the umbrella is a uniquely human invention, isn't it? There are things that mirror it in nature, but could we not create a more nature form brolly for our Expats Portugal one? Like a splayed canna leaf, not cannabis, although that would be another market altogether, wouldn't it? Now I'm thinking, the canna plant that looks a bit like bamboo. Can that be splayed into maybe we should have Algarve style ones, like the little beach hut roofs of palm. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but this is what brainstorming is all about. This is how the people who become billionaires begin, Colin, this is the other Colin. I use Hakeem as my anti-mozzie device. They love him and leave me alone. Well, there's love for you. A garlic pill and vitamin B. Jerry's taking it seriously. This is good for vampires as well, I think. Garlic pill and vitamin B pill daily. Mozzies still bite, but hate the taste and no nasty lumps. So on the mosquito memos around Alvazra, they are saying, don't go to that guy's house. Don't go to the Irishman's house. His blood tastes of Guinness, garlic, and vitamin B. So there you go. Great tips this morning. Thank you, everybody. Citronella body spray. Oh, check you out, Andrew. Not content with a torch, a whole body spray, because you're worth it, I guess. Como, anyone have experience in swimming at winter in the Algarve? Too cold to enjoy? It depends. Como, a lot of people are doing the Wim Hof method, aren't they? So many more people are going into the water despite the temperature these days. Silly fools. But it's all relative, isn't it? I would go in the water in the Algarve in the winter, for sure, at least up to my ankles. Gin and tonic for medicinal anti-mozzie treatment as well. Is it the quinine they don't like in the tonic? So actually you don't need the gin. Others will argue with me that you absolutely do. Great, Frank, putting you down for 2 brollies, 2 sun hats and a pair. The expat Speedos. Who will be modelling those, I wonder? All branded Expats Portugal wear, of course, this morning. Fantastic ideas coming from Casa Lola this morning. So who would you like to see modeling the? I've already got myself in trouble with the Gold Mankini stuff, which I don't really want to talk about. But and so it won't be me. I'm not putting myself forward for this. Who would we like to see modeling the whole set there? Possibly the sun hat, the brolly, and the speedos, all in Expats Portugal. Is it going to be in green? Like emerald green, Jerry? Perhaps you're the natural candidate for that then. Or is it Frank? I'm wondering. Your request, please, in the comments. Ola, any advice on getting package released from CTT jail? That's the thing, isn't it? It's a gift for a little... Oh, it's a gift for... Tell them that. Portuguese family life. Appeal to Portuguese a love of kids and family. It's a gift from a little boy sent by a well-meaning friend in the States, but now it's a big saga as they move locations. Antonia, do you speak Portuguese? That's a must there, or get a Portuguese BFF to do that for you. Failing that, Philomena will probably get on the case for that for you. Sorry to hear that. Anyone else got advice for cracking imprisoned packages out of CTT jail? Get a jet wash, 50 plus, do the bike and the person at the same time. How much do you charge for that, Gary? Brilliant. Anti-itch, a strong old wine vinegar. That makes for a romantic evening, though, doesn't it? Also at Aldi, they have Vinagre de Limpeza, which really works. Is that for the cyclists or the mosquito? Oh, once you've been bitten, okay, you get the old wine vinegar on yourself, and that would probably ruin your chances of any amorous advances that evening. But maybe you want that as well. That'd be two birds with one stone in that case, wouldn't it? Andrew Gilchrist, rhubarb leaves for a rain hat. There's our organic offering, rhubarb leaves, and you can nibble on the stalk as you're taking a walk in the rain. This is a absolute hotbed. This is the white heat of innovation and enterprise this morning. I think Jeff Bezos and all the other leading billionaires of the world may start tuning in just to steal these ideas. I feel that might happen. I hear that mosquitoes prefer blood groups O. Can't change that, though. I think haven't some rock stars done that? And millionaires, but I wouldn't recommend it. Jacqueline CDM, yes, blood group O, a favorite in the mosquito community, apparently. Thank you for that, Jacqueline. Maybe I am worth it. Yes, never in question, Andrew. Gary Austin, lavender works well with mozzies. Treat them to an aromatherapy session. Garlic just gives them bad breath. Stops them breeding then, perhaps. I don't know. For Expats Beach Range. There we go. Yes. This really is working this morning. Carl, I don't want to talk about you. I know. Joel, I nominate Frank, okay, for the modeling. Therapist says to me, I think you will have to talk about it someday. I'm just going to have a sip of water and reflect on that for a moment, as I urge you all to do. Those things that we're choking down, those things we say we don't want to talk about, and some of us keep talking about it anyway. But yes, there's a little poignant thought from, I believe, Stephen, who is in the personal development business. I like that. You will have to talk about it someday. Make of that what you will. But yes, a problem shared is a problem made is a problem something or other. I don't know what it's good to talk. Another way of putting it. Even the locals experience CTT parcel jail. I mean, it must be getting bigger and bigger all the time, mustn't it? And it's really galling when you see your stuff, the same thing, turn up on eBay, presumably. I'll take the modeling job for 1,000. Anything goes. So does that mean for 1,000 you will do anything, Will? But we've got our first offer of a model there. Can you send in your card, please, for the team to assess, Will? Thank you very much. Only fans. Brilliant, Andrew. Thanks, Will. Please send the 1,000 and we'll make the booking. Yes, Jerry. Jerry is right on it this morning. He's had 3 shredded wheat, hasn't he, Jerry Lawler, this morning? Rub some cheek aquadent on yourself. What a waste, Frank. Gives the mozzies a treat and make friends as well. Yeah, actually, because as you walk down the street smelling of cheap aguardent, you may entertain the affection of older Portuguese gentlemen as well, who mysteriously chase you down the street, like a St. Bruno ad, or more recently, Lynx cheap aguardent. There's another idea. They're coming thick and fast this morning. Procrastination, let's just think about that for a while. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And the Flame Award for comedy this morning goes to Mr. Jerry Lawler, as awarded by Andrew Gilchrist. That is brilliant in so many ways, so many great ideas. Thank you for your company this morning. Thank you, Paul Carrera of Fiduciary Wealth Management. Thank you, the awesome Jeff de Gouvier, whose services I hope you will book in Madeira. What a guy. Do watch, go to the whatever, their Instagram, their YouTube, and watch his very funny, hilarious promotional video. But the best thing about all the great info coming in and all the funnies this morning is that we didn't have to look at the news. Isn't that fantastic? Well done, everybody. My halls, I'm glad, or is that a typo? Stink of links and BO. Are you sharing a halls of residence with younger men? I think that, Andrew. I'm not saying you're not a young man, but I think you're either a mature student or you are a teacher who has to endure the company of younger people who, yes, often sport that mix. And I think we will go with halls. Frank, thank you, weatherman. He's so not over it. Joao, have a good day, Cole. Cheers. Igualmente, my friend Joao. Thank you for that recommendation of Jeff. I can't be bothered to procrastinate. Here we go. Yes, your uni halls smell. Yes, very good. And yes, of course. Shall we finish with? Do you want to come on air and do this joke, Harry? Because you're good at this, and we'd love to hear them in the Brummie accent. But shall I do it in a Brummie accent? I'm going to do a Brummie accent version of this Swedish joke for you now, which I think I might just get away with. A little bit worrying because Jerry's watching, and stand by from a memo from Astrid possibly. But thank you for that cue there, Gary. You've rolled that to me as an underarm, and I can't resist it. I'm going to go with it as an end to the show today. We really are ending now. But here's me. So I'm going to do this joke now. Have you heard the one about the Swedish bloke who goes into a chemist and says, can I have a... Now I do the Swedish bit. I'd like to buy a deodorant, please. Offending Brummies and Swedes now, okay? Shall I do a little bit of English, Irish, Scottish, and Welsh too while we're about it? So anyway, back to the Swedish. I'd like to buy a deodorant, please. And the lady behind the counter says, as Gary is saying here, aerosol a ball. And the Swedish fella says, no, I want it for my armpits, actually. You've been amazing. Thank you, everybody. Take care and bye for now. Ciao, ciao. See you tomorrow morning for another show. I don't know what's happening. See you tomorrow night for Paul Carrera and the beginnings of the Investment Club. And, of course, the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club at 9. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now.